our first story related to recently indicted Senator Menendez of New Jersey. As according to NewJerseyNews12.com, days after Bob Menendez was indicted over bribery charges, his first co-defendant, Wael Hana, pleaded not guilty yesterday over charges of conspiracy to commit bribery and fraud. Hana traveled from Egypt to the United States and landed yesterday in JFK Airport and was arrested there as he is one of three businessmen accused of bribing Senator Menendez. After his hearing in court, Hana's attorney, Lawrence Lussenberg, said his client pleaded not guilty because he is not guilty. There have been national and statewide outcry, including from New Jersey's other Senator Cory Booker and even Governor Phil Murphy, calling for Menendez to resign from his position, which he has refused to do. And as New Jersey's junior senator, Mr. Booker often has described Mr. Menendez as a friend, ally, and mentor. His decision shows a deepening crisis facing the senator. And Senator Booker said, quote, "The details of the allegations against Senator Menendez are of such a nature that the faith and trust of New Jerseyans, as well as those he must work with in order to be effective, have been shaken to the core. I believe stepping down is the best for those Senator Menendez has spent his life serving." And Menendez is scheduled to be arraigned today in Manhattan court, along with his wife, Nadine. And this is one of the stories that, again, came out last week, and a lot of eyes has been on it, especially here in the Garden State, because as the article just said, there has been an effort by our elected officials to call for Senator Menendez to resign after all of this legal stuff has come upon him. And it's just, really unfortunate situation for the senator, because online regarding this article, there have been people literally, when we hear a story like this, there are people from their respective news outlets who want to get an insight from whoever they're speaking about. And in this case, Senator Menendez has to deal with people literally following him, chasing him wherever he goes in his political buildings. And in a clip, I saw that one of the reporter asked Senator Menendez, why are you not going to resign? Like, people are calling for you to resign. What's going on? And he said, well, I'm not guilty, so why am I going to resign? so
Yeah.
It's
it honestly, it seems that no matter what the result is, no matter if they find him guilty or not guilty, I feel like usually men in positions of power usually don't really get the consequences anyway. And no matter what the courts find him, it might not really matter in terms of his job or in terms of his life.
No, he's not going to step down unless they literally force him to.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the dark side of being a politician, because it's kind of just kind of the bread and butter of what we hear, like in some of our stories that we read, right? There's a politician and he might have some corruption behind him, and now it's coming into the light and the public has eyes on it. And this is something, like you said, Gwen, you can't just wake up one day and act like it's not there, because people are always going to ask Senator Menendez about this, ask him, hey, are you still going to resign? Or like Riley just said, unless there's been like a forceful action from a higher elected official or anything of that nature, then that would be time to concern, like, what is going to happen to Senator Menendez. And it's also not his first time dealing with this. This is his second time that he's been indicted, like, over some suspicious things, right? So he says he's not innocent, but second time for being indicted.
A little suspicious.
It happens.
Yeah, I mean,
does it happen, Alex? Can you go through the tell us, Alex?
No. I mean, like, he does seem fishy. 2 indictments in how long?
8 years.
8 years.
Yes, his previous one happened in the year 2015, with similar similar charges, political favor,
Mm.
bribery stuff. And
Mr.
now he's being investigated for bribery again.
You know,
And
Mr. Menendez, you should not take bribes. You're a voted politician, especially in New Jersey.
yeah,
In Jersey, you're gonna take bribes. I know we're like known for like our like the Sopranos and stuff like that, but like, come on, you're an elected official, Mr. Menendez.
this is something.
This is Jersey you're talking about. You gotta. This is the heart of America, I believe. You gotta stand for something you believe in.
Somebody's always gonna be looking over his shoulder.
Exactly. Come on, Mr. Menendez.
Yeah, so
Do better.
we are definitely going to keep you updated here on WMSC regarding the story regarding Senator Menendez, because number one, this is in our own backyard here in the Garden State, but also it's one of those stories, like we said before, where a lot of eyes are going to be on it. A lot of people are going to be following it regarding what happens to Senator Menendez and his wife's hearing, and all the other businessmen who may be investigated as well. But with that, Riley, can you please tell us what's going on in the state of Michigan?
President Biden encourages auto workers to continue their work strike. Yesterday, President Joe Biden traveled to Wayne County to show support for the United Auto Workers and their strike for better wages and conditions. He said, "You saved the auto industry back in 2008. You made a lot of sacrifices. You deserve the significant raise you need and other benefits." Labor historians could not recall a time when a sitting U.S. president made such an effort to stand with labor unions in this sense. UAW President Sean Fain said, "Thank you, Mr. President, for coming to stand in our generation-defining moment. We do the heavy lifting, not CEOs." President Biden's visit to Michigan comes a day after former President Donald Trump is set to appear in the state, while the second Republican debate is taking place tonight from Simi Valley, California, 9 p.m. EST.
Yeah, so it's when I read this article, it kind of brought the idea of like, well, when one strike ends in the United States, another strike is happening in the United States, because with the SAG-AFTRA strike, we just heard that there's been a deal for both actors and writers for them to start working again, and actually that got lifted for writers today at 12:01 a.m. today. Writers were able to work, and
Whoa.
Yeah.
it seems, and now with in a different industry now for auto workers, we're kind of seeing the same nature, especially when President Biden travels from wherever he may be traveling to, especially from the White House, to go to be with these people, right? And that's like the article said, that's something that in the past, I guess, didn't happen often.
I mean, you're right, though, because think about it. Before the writer strike, we had that whole incident with Starbucks trying to unionize. So it does feel like there's just constant.
And that relates from workers recognizing, where work needs to be done regarding the work that they do, and how they're compensated, right? How they're treated, right? And we have actually heard a lot about strikes this year. We had, the Rutgers professor strike earlier this year.
It was,
Yeah.
last semester.
And then it ended, I think, this past winter or spring. Like that's when it ended. And it's been like in the nursing field, in the delivery field. We're seeing a lot of workers like standing up for themselves, right? And that's good, because people should be doing that based on whatever jobs that they may have, right? And again, it's really because if we took United States history classes, I don't really recall reading about how like past presidents made this much effort for whatever like 1800s jobs that there were back then, whenever they were in office, right? But this is something that really is, like the article said, really meaningful for our generation and the generations who are in this work union, because the president of their country is joining them and showing them like, keep it up, like President Biden said. And it's also really interesting how President Biden is there the day before former President Trump is going to be in the same state, right? And as Riley said, tonight at 9 p.m. here, but 6 p.m. in the state of California, that's when the debate is going to take place, which former President Trump is not going to be at. He's going to be in this area in Michigan. So, yeah, I mean,
They're gonna brawl. It's gonna be a boxing match.
it's gonna. I mean, I
think
I
that's
know.
what the show like their officials.
Wait, what?
Boxing match.
I know from here to California, it's about a 6-hour flight. From Michigan to California, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe a little bit less, but still, it would be pretty difficult, I believe, to make that kind of trip. And that's kind of where we're kind of seeing it's clear that,
I mean, former President Trump hasn't been at any of the
oh no,
debates yet.
and he's still, leading in his respective parties polls. So
Because he knows he doesn't need to be at these debates. Like, let's be real. Like, everybody knows what he stands. He was a former president. I understand that's like traditionally you go to the debate, but he's also like being like, what I don't know the term for how his state of criminal offenses are. Like, he got a mugshot, so. That's usually criminals.
Very funny mugshot.
It was a funny mugshot, but he doesn't need to be at the debates per se. The other candidates definitely need to be at it.
Yeah, they
like
do.
the people we don't like, Swami, DeSantis, Christie. Like, you need to know their stances because you don't really follow. But like, everybody knows where Trump stands.
Even though they won't really do much debating.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of yelling,
and it's gonna. Oh, I mean,
and you'll love
it's gonna be, again, one of those things where a lot of eyes are on it.
Yeah.
Nationwide. It's a nationwide broadcast, right? And
can't wait.
again, this relates to what we were discussing a few weeks ago with Mayor Suarez from Miami. He didn't meet that kind of requirement to be at the first one. And as the months go on, we're gonna be hearing about people who possibly will also recognize maybe this is not feasible, to win the Oval Office, take the president's seat. And again, that's going to be something we're going to follow, as we get closer and closer to next year's presidential election, which, that's what all this is for. Why else would we be having two separate things going on, two separate debates, nationwide broadcasts for people to travel to from wherever they are in the United States? So, definitely one of those building blocks for the upcoming presidential election. Oh yeah, indeed, Riley. Indeed.
Olivia Rodrigo teams up with Sony for limited edition earbuds.
What?
Olivia Rodrigo, the pop star who recently released her sophomore album Guts, is teaming up with mega corporation Sony to release a pair of limited edition purple earbuds. The company says that the design was created by the Grammy Award winner herself and is basically a color swap of the standard Link Buds S with a unique violet marble pattern. The earbuds can access custom equalizer settings turned on by Rodrigo and the producer. These settings offer optimal listening experience for her 2 albums on major streaming platforms. Additionally, the earbuds provide a robust active noise canceling text, 360-degree spatial sound and support, and LDAC for high resolution audio. Many components that make up the earbuds are manufactured using recycled plastics from materials from automobile parts and reclaimed water bottles. I will say I do own her limited edition phone case.
Whoa.
And I bought it because it looked cool. The earbuds don't look cool.
Hey, Riley, that took a lot of guts of you to admit that.
I bought it because I like butterflies and it said butterfly design. The earbuds don't have a butterfly design, so I'm very sad.
It must be brutal for your wallet, Riley.
Oh,
Getting a lot of deja vu on us making puns every week.
Also, they're $200. Just want to put that out there.
That might be
Yeah.
bad idea, right?
Well, I mean that.
But
I'm
hey,
sure a lot of people who are great fans of Olivia Rodrigo are gonna buy these earbuds, right?
yeah, it's all. I mean, personally, it's all I want.
that's a bit of a deep.
I mean,
cut.
listen, if you like purple, they're now in purple. I mean, that's really all they are. They're just purple.
Yeah, and it's good for you.
It's good to get
Well,
that personal listening experience.
We're going through her whole
whole discography.
Riley, don't be jealousy.
I'm not. I like Olivia Rodrigo. I literally have her.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Hey Riley, it's like October's coming up. Are you gonna be a vampire?
For Halloween? No.
Yeah.
No.
Guys, stop. This is really giving me deja vu.
Yeah.
No.
We made that. We just made that one. So we're taking one step forward and 3 steps back now, Glenn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because the headphones do arrive on Halloween.
Okay. No, like this again, it's just a great PR opportunity for Olivia Rodrigo to pull in some extra bucks up on top of
For
the
sure.
millions she's probably making already off of her music.
People are gonna buy them. Like
Yeah.
it's just like when BTS made that phone. Like people were like legitimately buying a phone just because it came with photo cards. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Gaga's perfume, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Had her own.
I made a lot of
Ariana
dollars.
Grande's got Cloud,
I'm sorry.
the perfume Cloud.
Oh, well, she's got other. I have her first perfume that wasn't in the cloud bottle. So.
Oh. Well, after you spend all that money, I hope you're okay.
Well, I got that perfume like 12 years ago. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably expired.
I know not a real person, but she is like a singer technically. Hatsune Miku. She's like a Vocaloid
You don't-
anime.
I didn't get to Miku didn't get into Miku Expo, and we're gonna have some issues.
I'm trying so hard, but she's like people go to her concert. She's like a singer, but she's like fully a hologram. She's not even like a
yeah,
voice. She's
like-
like a voice box
Like
tuning.
a
Yeah.
virtual performer, right?
Yeah. And people like tune her voice to make songs, and it's really
Mhm.
impressive. She actually had a pair of headphones release a couple years ago, and I really that's when I saw this and I was just like, oh, like why would I want earbuds? I wanted those headphones so bad. They were just blue.
Hi,
That was like the
Emma.
special thing about them. They were like her signature like blue hair color. And I
Hi,
was like,
Emma, my
they're
roommate.
wonderful.
The fact that you got Miku Expo tickets without me really made me cry last night. To sleep with one eye open. Because I'm stealing your tickets. I will see Miku.
I love her so much.
I will, and I'm mad that you are without me.
And Emma, good for you for buying those types of headphones.
She didn't get the headphones, got the tickets to the expo.
Oh, thank you. That's one of them.
Yeah.
Well, good for her. Yeah, I mean that's great. It's
Okay.
it's great when these types of things come up and fans are delighted to spend their money on it, and fans would also be delighted to spend their money on going to live concerts to see their favorite artists, right?